Hello everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone XS Max and compare it against the iPhone 12 Pro Max and see which particular phones are the better one for you. Now, I will definitely tell you, if you have all the money in the world, please go for the 12 Pro Max. Those phones are going to be significantly better, and it just makes sense to buy the newer phones rather than the older ones. But the XS Max is still supported with software. It's significantly cheaper than the 12 Pro Max, so let's see if it's worth buying. Take a look. I will tell you, if you want to pick up either one of these phones though, links will be down in the description. You can get that from there, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular devices, the iPhone XS Max on the front side has a 6.5-inch Super Retina OLED display, and it's a good panel. You know, it's a great panel for the most part for a phone back in 2018. When this phone first came out, it was the biggest sized iPhone display that we ever saw, which was really cool. And I think that is a really cool thing going on for this particular device, that it was that big. And when compared to the 12 Pro Max, it's a big sized phone. You know, that's something that's actually really, really crazy and cool going on with this particular device. So I think it still looks great. I don't really have like too many things to complain about here from a panel standpoint. And I do think like if I'm going to go through and purchase a device, this thing holds up fairly well in terms of the body standpoint to today's phones, in my personal opinion. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. You're still getting the notch in a 60Hz panel. With the iPhone 12 Pro Max, on the other hand, this is a bigger device in almost every single way. So you're getting a bigger sized phone, a bigger sized display, bigger sized everything. You're still getting things like, a very high resolution display on this thing. It is a 60Hz panel as well, like we kind of hit on before, which is very nice. And I do think overall, this is still a very, very good looking phone. That's something I actually like a lot about this particular device. I will tell you it's a better display, it's a bigger display, and it just looks nicer. I think it gets brighter as well than the iPhone XS Max. So I think this in and of itself is another really cool thing going on for something like the iPhone 12 Pro Max over the iPhone XS Max. Now they're both giving you lightning ports at the bottom. The sides are a little bit different. The iPhone XS Max has a kind of curved side to it. The iPhone 12 Pro Max sides are kind of flat. So this is just another kind of example of the design language change. And when you kind of compare the sides of both these phones and the way they feel, the iPhone 12 Pro Max does hold up so much better than the iPhone XS Max. When compared to the iPhone 15 Pros, or when compared to even like the Samsung Galaxies of this year, you're going to be getting a phone that feels more like a Galaxy of this year or iPhone of this year than something like the iPhone XS Max compared to these phones. So that right there, once again, is just another small slight thing to kind of keep in mind here as well. Now, on top of that, another big thing is on the back. You're getting a standard glass back on the iPhone XS Max. With the iPhone 12 Pro Max, you're getting this frosted glass back. So I think this in and of itself is another very, very big thing to kind of keep in mind here too. Because if you're wanting the phone that's going to be giving you the more premium feeling, architecture for today's standards, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is probably going to be the one that's going to feel a lot more premium to today's types of devices. And that's just kind of what ends up happening. Like when you're buying some of these newer phones, you're going to be getting a phone on the iPhone 12 Pro Max that's going to stand the test of time a little bit more than the iPhone XS Max. So once again, kind of keep that in mind. I love both these phones. I think they're great. But if I'm going to go and pick up one, I think the iPhone 12 Pro Max on the exterior is probably doing a better job. However, a big thing to keep in mind here is that when you look at both, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is one of those phones that does cost a little bit more money. The iPhone 12 Pro Max, as of this point, is about almost like $200 more expensive than the iPhone XS Max, which is kind of a lot because the iPhone XS Max you could probably buy for like $230 or something. So like for twice the price you can buy 12 Pro Max. I don't know if it's worth it for every person to do that, but I would say for a lot of people it might make a lot of sense to do. So it's not like these two phones are the same price. They are very, very different when it comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now on top of that, when it comes down to the cameras, both these cameras are also slightly different for the most part too. So with the iPhone XS Max, you're getting a dual camera setup, two basically 12 megapixel sensors, a wide and an ultra wide camera, which is great. That's awesome. The iPhone 12 Pro Max, on the other hand, is giving you, in my opinion, personally, a better, type of layout for the most part. So on something like the iPhone 12 Pro Max, you're getting a 12 megapixel wide-angle lens, then a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera, and then you're getting a 12 megapixel telephoto lens as well. So that is actually something really, really nice to have inside of a phone like this. And I do think this in and of itself is a very cool thing. The fact that the iPhone 12 Pro Max is giving you a significantly better camera in almost every single way. You're also getting 4K at 60 on the backside of both these phones, whereas on the iPhone 12 Pro Max, or on the XS Max, you're only getting 1080p on the front. So this in and of itself, once again, is kind of a little bit of an annoying thing because the XS Max is not going to be giving you that type of camera capability that the other phones may be giving you. So I will say, for my personal opinion, once again, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is probably going to be giving you overall the better camera setup in every single way than the iPhone XS Max. But for the most part, the iPhone XS Max is still going to be great. You're still going to be getting a very good experience on the XS Max. It's not perfect by any means, and it's not going to be amazing, but it's good enough for the most part, and it's not like you're going to be like, hurting for a better camera if you get something like the iPhone XS Max either. So both phones are great, but like I said, you're going to be definitely getting the better camera instead of the iPhone 12 Pro Max than the iPhone XS Max. So take that as you will, but that kind of covers it up there. Now, on top of that, when it comes down to the software longevity, this is also another very interesting thing. So between both these phones, you're definitely going to be getting a very, very good experience between both. So it's not like, the timeline wise from the years, like numbers wise, it's not like one's probably going to be like numbers wise lasting more than the other one. I feel like the XS Max had a really good run, but definitely the iPhone 12 Pro Max is going to be the longer lasting device right now. So that's kind of the big thing to kind of keep in mind. Like if you're going to go through and pick up the next device, it's definitely probably I would recommend buying something like the iPhone 12 Pro Max, because that is going to be the one that's going to be lasting a longer period of time. And that is, again, one of the bigger things to keep in mind here, because that's the one that I'd recommend a majority of people to go ahead and buy. So take it as you will, but that is kind of the one that I'd recommend buying here for the most part. Now, when you look at something like the iPhone XS Max, this device is still supported with software. You're still going to be good to go for the time being. But like I mentioned, if you're trying to go and get the bigger device for the most part, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is going to be the one that's going to be lasting for a far longer period of time than something like the iPhone XS Max. So that kind of covers it up there. In terms of performance, this is also a slight difference. So between both these phones, the iPhone 12 Pro Max is basically going to be lasting, it's a more premium phone. It's the newer phone here. That one is giving you the Apple A14 Bionic chip inside with 6GB of RAM, where the iPhone XS Max is giving you the Apple A12 Bionic chip inside of it with 4GB of RAM. So once again, this in and of itself is a slight difference. If you're trying to go through and buy the phone that's going to be giving you a better performing phone, the iPhone 12 Pro Max by far is a better one. App loading speeds are going to be faster. Downloading apps is going to depend on your Wi-Fi, but there's going to be a lot of examples and reasons why something like the iPhone 12 Pro Max is probably going to be an overall better experience than the iPhone XS Max. But the XS Max, I think, is still good for a lot of people. Like that type of phone is still good enough. It's not perfect, but I do think for a lot of people, it's probably just the one that's going to be good. It's going to be basic. Really, once the apps are loaded, you're going to be getting like pretty decent experiences on both. But like, it really depends on what you're going to be doing. Are you going to be playing massively intensive games on all of them? Then probably something like the iPhone 12 Pro Max might be better for you. But I'll probably tell you for the average person, the iPhone XS Max is probably okay too, but like it does make a lot more sense to buy something like the iPhone 12 Pro Max when it kind of comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. And to be honest, I will probably tell you in almost every single way, both these devices are great and everything, but like the iPhone 12 Pro Max is probably the better phone here in almost every single way. That's kind of the thing that makes the most amount of sense to me. If I'm going to go through and pick up a device, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, again, is the one that's probably the better one for a lot of people. I think there might be some cases where you can make where like the XS Max might be the better one, like from a price perspective, but otherwise 12 Pro Max all day. It's definitely the better one here for sure. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.